All right, so remember in the last lecture, the first one, we were talking about soil and looking at soil quality. Please remember, loam is the ideal soil type if you're looking at traditional agriculture. Non-traditional crops can grow in a variety of different soil types, but really being in the Midwest, our focus here is corn, beans, some wheat, alfalfa. That crop variety really likes loam. That's why this part of the country is great for that type of agriculture. So we left off with terrible soil in the rainforest, this clay that's got a lot of iron in it and needs to be enhanced with nutrients and fertilizers and lime. But now we also want to look at the soil fauna. What little critters live in the soil? One of the most important groups living in the soil are the decomposers. Bacteria, algae, and the fungi. That group, those decomposers, are critical. They break down and recycle nutrients. They make sure all that dead organic material gets recycled back and becomes available for the plant base. So then the root systems of the plants are able to actually pull out those nutrients and then grow more efficiently and grow better. Because without the nutrients, the producer base struggles. So this is the challenge in agriculture. If we're spraying different chemicals on our fields, are we killing the soil fauna? If we spray something or put something into the environment that kills bacteria or fungi or etc., are you whacking out the good guys while you're trying to get rid of the bad guys? Worms, absolutely an incredibly important component of healthy soil. Those guys are classified as detritivores. So let me put that term in here to make sure everybody's comfortable with it. So worms go into the detritivore category, meaning these guys eat organic material, broken down little bits of leaves and plants and vegetation, what we call detritus. And then they digest the nutrients and literally poop out the stuff they can't use. That's soil. Worms make a lot of really good soil for us. It's estimated most of the soil we're walking on is worm poop. But it takes long periods of time for that. So if you're going to do any composting, make sure you have plenty of worms in it. There can be earthworms, red worms, all sorts of different varieties of worms that will help break it down. As the worms are burrowing through your soil profile, they're actually leaving little tunnels that allows air to diffuse down, as well as water to percolate through the soil. So a good diversity of worms and decomposers is really important for soil. Insects, they also play a role in this. They'll burrow down into the soil to lay their eggs. Their grubs kind of crawl through the soil. That way it doesn't compact. If soil compacts, water doesn't percolate through it, it runs right off, and plant roots have a harder time growing down through hard, compacted soil. So we want to keep it loose and rich, and if fluffy, it's not really a great term for soil, but fluffy soil that is loam or loamy type of soil, and you're going to have some great productivity there, some great producers. Something else to mention here, and I'm going to do it in yellow to highlight it. It is what we call the mycorrhizae. Let me make sure I spell it Rhizel. The mycorrhizal symbiosis. Fungi, mycorrhizae fungi, and the plant roots. So what the fungi does is it actually embeds itself slightly into the root system of the plant. Some of them actually puncture into the cells of the roots, others wrap around the cells of the roots. And the fungi derive nutrients from the plants. They get some of the sugars the plants are making. In return, the fungi is giving the plant root things like nitrogen and different different minerals and elements that it can get out of the soil. So they work together as a team. So take a look at the picture down to the right there, and this one here, this is grass growing because of the fungi, the mycorrhizal symbiosis. That's all this white stuff here that looks like strings or hair. Those are the fungal root systems, or they don't have true roots, but the fungal hyphae, if you guys remember that term. That's all that white stuff. Go next to it without the mycorrhizae, over on the right here. First of all, the grass really isn't growing that well. And secondly, we don't have all this white stuff. There's less mycorrhizae there. So those roots of the plant, of the grass, they're not able to get as many nutrients. So huge difference if you have mycorrhizae versus non-mycorrhizae. So again, here's a challenge. I spray my field with a fungicide because I'm trying to kill fungus that will infect the plants and spoil my crop. But did I just kill the root fungus that I need to grow my plant? So it becomes really, really challenging when we're dealing with agriculture, how to kill the bad stuff and protect the good stuff. A lot of opportunity in that area. Can we figure out how to specifically target certain species and get rid of them? All right, so here's a big picture of the soil ecosystem. All sorts of different organisms involved in this ecosystem. You got roaches and springtails and termites and ants and worms, and this is just a small snapshot. But there's a lot of life down there in the soil. We often overlook it, don't even think twice about it, but that life is what establishes the producer base that then feeds the herbivores, that then feeds the carnivores, and on up through the food chain. So without the soil ecosystem, you don't have a bald eagle, you don't have a grizzly bear, you don't have people. It's really important, and we often, again, overlook it and don't think twice about it. So, all right, now let's actually dig down into the soil. Take a look at a soil profile and the way soil is layered. So as soil is created, it's stratified or layered into what we call horizontal layers called soil horizons. So a horizon means a layer of the soil. So it stacks up like pages in a book. Thick pages, and not a lot of them, but we do have some significant things going on here. So the horizons taken together, you add up all the different horizons, and you have what we call the soil profile. Now the O horizon is the one we often focus a lot on, and this is the organic layer of the soil profile. It's where most of your organic material is. This is where you'll find leaf litter. Let me get rid of that. So you got your leaf litter, all those leaves falling from the trees that will sit there in the woods or in the fields, etc. That's part of the O horizon. Most of your soil organisms, your worms and your beetles and all those little critters, sit in the O horizon, and partially decomposed organisms / matter. All right, so yeah, those little critters die and they start to decompose. That's where the worms are at, the fungi, the bacteria. Most of that resides in the O horizon. Now, we'll often talk about the A horizon. This is going to be what's known as the surface soil. This is the actual dirt that sits right underneath the O horizon. And that A horizon, or surface soil, is composed of the mineral particles mixed with organic material that often comes from the O horizon. So the organic stuff that's broken down in the O horizon over time kind of gets pushed down or trickles down into the A horizon, creating the soil quality of the A horizon. So officially, we could argue the O horizon isn't actually soil because it's all this organic stuff, but it contributes directly to the A horizon, and they're mixed. It's you can see kind of a line. Actually, let me go to the next picture here. Here's a soil profile. So you can kind of see where it changes from O to A, but it's not as if there's this clear line where it's flat, guaranteed, here's a separation. There's kind of a blending of the O horizon into the A. There's a blending of the A into the E into the B, and so on and so forth. Okay, so O horizon, again, let's make sure we got these and we're feeling good about them. The O horizon, get the right font. The O horizon is going to be your organic matter. O for organic. The A horizon is going to be your topsoil. Oh, too far. The B horizon, or I'm sorry, E. Oh. The E horizon is known as the eluviated layer. So this eluviated layer, this is a layer where you're going to have, this is the E over here, where you're going to have your clay and you're going to have your acids and all this stuff. This isn't the good quality stuff. The deeper your topsoil, the better off you are. Eluviated can change over time as nutrients trickle down from the A horizon that originally came from the O horizon, and then it can change that eluviated layer and improve the quality of that soil. But it takes time. Again, that's the key with soil. It takes time to build. Oh, lost my indentation. Sorry. There it is. Okay, so B horizon, now we get down below that. This is known as a subsoil layer. So you're sitting one layer below the E into the subsoil with the B horizon. One layer below the E. I'm sorry if I said B. So your B horizon is your subsoil. Again, everything is trickling down. So you're losing nutrients, or you have a lower level of nutrients here in the B horizon. You don't have as much loam. You don't have as much aeration. Usually you're not getting your invertebrates and your soil fauna all the way down here. Depends on the depth of each of these layers. But again, you're kind of losing soil quality as you get all the way down to that B horizon. When you eventually reach down to the C horizon, now what we're looking at is, make sure I got that, weathered rock for the C horizon. So depending on the geography or geology, more importantly, of your area, you may or may not have C horizon. That's something you can reach if you're digging. Midwest, the C horizon weathered rock is pretty deep because we have to get pretty far down there to get into any kind of bedrock. If we go to the tropics, down in Central America, you only need to go down sometimes a foot or 2 feet and you're hitting the sea horizon in that weathered rock, because it used to be all coral reef that was uplifted, and now we have land forming above that coral, exposed coral that was exposed hundreds of millions of years ago. Below the sea horizon, you have the parent material, whatever type of base material that geographical region would contain. So again, in the tropics, that parent material would be limestone. Go to different parts of the United States, you might find granite, you might find shale, you might find, well, in the US, go deep enough, you can find limestone here as well, but you gotta dig pretty far down to hit it, just because we used to be at sea hundreds of millions of years ago, and we had limestone forming. So I'm just going to go etc. here. So the parent material varies based on the geological history of that area. All right, so we got soil profiles. Make sure we can remember the order of the horizons. In our next lecture, we're going to talk about